What up? What up?
Wow. What's happening, man?
What up? How you, bro?
Man, I'm making it, man. I'm making it, brother.
Man, I'm so happy to be here with you, fam. Yo, I feel like bookstagrammers. Yo, y'all motherfuckers is like mad motherfucking like popular to me. You know what I'm saying? I be seeing them motherfuckers. I be like, yo, there they go. You know what I mean? Like I was on a cruise. The only time I've ever been on a cruise, and they had like they were showing like pictures of the band in your bedroom. And then when I saw them motherfuckers in real life, I was like, yo, that nigga famous. And then my friend was like, fam, you just saw them on the fucking and I was like, I don't care, they famous to me. That's how I feel about you, fam. I'm like, I'm really here.
Man, get the hell out of here, man. I feel the same way, son. Like you can ask my wife, man. I've been at the job, like, yo, I'm getting ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't need look. I need y'all to be writing y'all essay while I'm working on these essay like questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, was that 2 years ago we met or a year and a half? I get the years confused now.
What is this? 21? I guess technically it's two
Okay.
because it was 2019, I think. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. I was running around, chasing you around, man.
Bruh. That was yeah, we should talk about that we ain't being recorded or whatever, but yeah, it was a lot going on that day, man.
Yes, you was moving and grooving, man.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, I was popping in and out of like lots of things, and I was like, "Yo, you need to follow what I'm doing. I'm doing like this thing. I'm gonna be doing like a black man reading." You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
And people was like, "Okay." I was like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna be here next year." You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes, fam.
Yeah.
It was yo, and when you pulled up like right next to me, fam, like yeah, it was what it was supposed to be. You know, you when you go to that, I like that event, but it's never. I don't ever feel like that event is what it's supposed to be in terms of like us, you know. But it was better. It was better than it has been for sure.
Yeah, yeah, man. So how are you, man? You good? You straight?
It's been a long day, bro. I've been looking forward to this all day, but I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Same, man. Well, this how we gonna do it, y'all. I ain't gonna try to hold my man long, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's late, you know what I'm talking about? I know I thank all y'all for showing up. I know it's late too. And so I'm gonna get into some of these questions. If you have some questions, drop them in the question box and we'll try to get to those closer to the end. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like what I was saying earlier. You're kind of like a mentor from afar. I've been kind of like studying what you do and how you're kind of leading the tradition. And so I was watching what you were doing with the National Book Foundation, the Secrets of the South event
Right.
that was like I think last week. And you were the moderator, and the topic of Charles Blow's theory of this reverse migration came up, right? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
since you was the moderator, you ain't
Right.
answer how you felt about it. You know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
with you actually being from one of the destinations he's talking about, I was wondering like what holes you saw in the suggestion, what you kind of thought might work well in terms of um, political grounds, and then also there was this assertion in there that I kind of was like, where he's like, I never felt anxiety around the police in Jackson. I never felt anxiety around the police in New Orleans. And you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, bro. That's interesting. You know, I'm gonna just say though before I start, I need to say this. Like Charles Blow is us, right? Like he from the swag.
Yeah.
Um, he knows he didn't. You know, sometimes my grandmama got this phrase, and somebody used it earlier today when we were talking about Dion. You know, he didn't just. You know, some people just flew there, and then some people grew there. You know, he grew there. He understands. I think a bit about where we from. I'm gonna say that to start and say because of that, I think he deserves to be granted generosity. That's the
Absolutely.
first thing I'll say. Second thing I'll say might fly in the face of that. any sort of movement, South fam, that doesn't start with the reality that complicated, loving freedom fighters are already here. Like, if it doesn't start with that, it's going to be a little suspect. If it starts from a deficit model where like the South is in a deficit and the people, even if the subtext is the people are behind and slow and y'all need to come. And secondly, and I think, again, I think if you talk about moving masses of people into the poorest fucking regions in the country, you got to start talking about different kinds of gentrification. You know what I'm saying? Like, what
Yeah.
happens to the folks in Jackson who can't pay water bills now?
Yeah.
And I'm saying as somebody who wants to reverse migration, but I want that reverse migration on the Black South's terms. And if Charles Blow is representing the Black South when he calls for this reverse migration, I think, okay, I feel you. But make sure that every step backwards is a step toward loving the people who never left. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't want to diss that brother. He out there, he trying. I get the overall idea. My problem is, like, I think sometimes, man, you got me going off, bro. Like, I don't even need to get into it this much, but I think sometimes the punchline, I think we justify like how we got to the punchline. The punchline is we need a reverse migration, but the fucking, like, the setup is what we got to consider. And the same thing with Du Bois. I always say this, Du Bois, and so is the black folk, like the shit he was saying about black folks and the way he was demeaning
like
black
peasants or something he said, right? It was
called them peasants, fucking acting like motherfuckers didn't have no morality. And I get it, right? He's doing that to try to convince white people to care more. I get it. I'm not a white person, fam. I'm a writer and a reader. I'm gonna look at that shit and tell you where it's fucked up. So I get it. I feel him. I feel like that's our brother, and I just hope that his plan entails letting the people who are already down here lead.
Yeah. And like, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I felt. And that kind of leads into like my second question. So Jericho Wright, while you were interviewing them, he said that he thinks that is, he was like, that's cool. There were some things that he wasn't sure about, but he was like, we need to make sure that the black folk that are coming back actually love black folk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
right.
I think we take that for granted.
We do.
That, okay, we're just going to bust all these black folk back and it's going to be all good. Ain't nobody going to be, upset or mad. It's going to be all good. And everybody going to go to the polls and we're going to vote. And then, motherfuckers is going to leave that don't want to be here no more. That just stuck with me so much. And I was just wondering that what you thought about that response, and then also to juxtapose that with what you think those revolutionary freedom fighters like Fannie Lou Hamer and Medgar Evers would kind of say about all of this kind of hinging on us like becoming this political monolith.
Fam, I mean, the interesting thing about that question, Akili, that's a dope ass question, is that like, I just think any sort of assessment of black people that focuses on the vote is going to be a suspect assessment of black people. And Fannie, and this is where I'm saying this because you brought up Hamer.
Mm-hmm.
Hamer's wonder was not just simply what she did with Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, though that was fucking wonder. But that work is made possible because of like organic work she's doing in communities, organizing, not simply around the vote, around or other things as well. And so I'm not saying we should not organize around the vote. I'm saying that we know historically we can't simply organize around the vote. You know what I'm saying? And so and so Blow's argument / the way Blow's argument is being like deployed assumes that like all these motherfuckers should come back for the vote. And I think what Jericho was saying is like, fuck that. Come back if you love us. Come back home if you miss home, my nigga. Like, let's build some shit together. Come on home. Let's do this. But if you don't miss home and you just want to come back to fucking like, and I understand why you want to come back to like exert political power, which is real, but that can't be it. And that can't be the end and all of it. Because these are real relationships that have to be fucking like repaired, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a whole lot that goes into it. I'm glad he's giving us a lot to think about. And I would, for one, I agree. But I think there's a lot of conditions that this reverse migration, if you're asking me, should interest itself with. And I'm not sure that it is really interested in like what I would call like the minutia of a movement. I think it's interested in like the movement, but we know the
Yeah.
minutia that makes a movement, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely, man. One of my TAs, her dad was in, I think it's called the New Republic of Africa,
Yeah,
in Jackson.
my father was too.
Yeah, and so I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I want to like start like writing that into this space for my students, right? And when I talked to him, son, my man was like, it was still going on. He was questioning me, trying to see like what my motives were. And so like
Right.
these are the people that are already here that I think that, when you make that mass migration, you got to talk to some of these folks that are still here, you know what I'm saying, still sitting on porches looking for those black cars that was coming around, you know what I'm saying, et cetera, et cetera. But like you said, I mean, I dig it, you know what I'm saying, because we already here. But yeah, we got to go through like those.
And you know, sometimes I just feel like we can't use the anecdotal to support claims that aren't like beneficial to our people. So like this claim that Jackson is like a somehow like a con police zone, fam, it's not. Like I am from Jackson. I done had white cops in Jackson pull guns to my head. I done had black cops in Jackson pull guns to my motherfucking chest. You don't have to fuck and grant somebody be like, that's his experience. No question. I gotta feel that. But your experience, you have to know your experience with policing in Jackson is completely motherfucking like some shit that most black men on earth never experienced in Jackson, Mississippi. You know what I'm trying to say? So I get it. And I too have experienced worse policing up north, but I'm not gonna fucking be like, oh, police down in Jackson, they never fucking bother me. Get the fuck out of here. Them niggas trying to kill me. Are you kidding me? That's what police
Straight
do,
up.
fam. They might do it less, but they did it. They do it, you know? So, man, you got me getting loose already, bro. I was trying to. Yeah.
Nah, man, because I think, I think it's a wonderful idea, and he says it in the book, this isn't a brand new theory.
Right.
This has been echoed, and I think he just kind of like wants to reintroduce it. And he does a lot of work
Yeah.
to say, I understand this ain't gonna just be perfect. You know what I'm saying? So I do
Right.
think,
That's true. That's true.
yeah, I do think folks still need to read it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and get what they get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
100%.
So now I want to
I'm
get
not gonna
into.
say fam. Let me say this. I see these little jokers up here talking about they gonna drink every time a nigga say, I ain't saying that word. Y'all gonna be dry tonight. Ain't gonna be no drinking tonight.
Look, Nia usually try to get me. She say every time Achilles say right or like word, like you got to drink. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't going today. I'm on it. All right. So
Uh,
while I'm doing, and I'll talk a little bit about this too. So in long division, Satoyan says, or City says to himself, because it's kind of like this ongoing meta thing that's going on, which I'm gonna get into later, but that you haven't really read anything unless you've read it 3 times, right? 3 or more times, right? And so I'm on like this is my, I think, third time reading long division and maybe my fourth time
uh,
reading heavy. So I wonder, because I see like this continuity that's kind of going on between the novels. And so I'm
yeah.
wondering to what extent were all of the novels like written in concert with each other. Because
Oh my
like,
god.
you
My
know what I mean?
dream.
Yeah.
Fam. Fam. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, bro. I mean, I got a little design going on. You know what I mean? I'm trying to do something with 7 books. I'm trying to make them all and it's so weird. Nobody asked me that. And of course, you know,
Look,
of
I
course
got
from home.
I got some like marginal reasons I put this together, right? So it's like in heavy you mentioned your mom wanted to name you Satoyan, right? And you write Satoyan in City. And then I know that some of the ideas you're approaching how to slowly kill yourself and others in America come from experiences you had at Millsaps. And so like I said, I'm noticing like this fluidity and I know that they're like separate pieces. You know what I mean? But I just knew there was something going on. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro. I mean, you know, I'm obsessed with the number 4 and the number 7. and that's why heavies is cut up in the fourths,
Uh-huh.
and same with long division in a different way. But yeah, I'm trying to write. Nobody ever asked this question, but I'm trying to write like a long book that's cut up into 7 chapters, and each of those chapters would be a book,
Yeah.
and the first four, um, oh shit, yeah, the first four are done, and then the next three I'm working on them now. But yeah, so for me, it's like a 7-part thing that I hope blah blah blah. But bro, whatever. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm glad you can see some content. I mean, if you can reread, you can see it. It's there. It's all there. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's there. We trying. I think the minute a lot of us step on the stage and start writing, I think our whole careers are kind of performance art. But if people don't want to believe that, I mean, that's cool. It works in my benefit. But yeah, I'm trying to do something with like my public performance of myself, but I'm also trying to write like a 7-part book broken up into 7 books. And you know what? I don't think anybody else will ever ask me that question because motherfuckers don't really be knowing how to read like that. But that's what I'm trying to do.
Man, that means the world that you said. I be reading, because like
Yeah, you be reading, bro. You
son,
know. I mean, and you give hints, right? Like like city's name is Sitoyan, and if you look up what the Yiddish version of like Bays and a lot of those other names means, and you compare that to what you see happening in Heavy and the new revision of Long Division. But the thing is, like, I want to create 4 chapters that are perpetually being revised. I've done that. I've done what I wanted with those other 2 books. Like, there's 2 versions of those books out in the world at least. But I want to do something like that with all of the projects. That's gonna be harder. But
yeah,
yeah, fam. I'm trying to tell a long ass. I mean, we were inspired by the Bible, whether you rock with the Bible or not. We were inspired by it, and I've been trying to write my own for a while now, and just kind of masking it and trying to create different books. But I'm trying to do something.
yeah. Okay. So
Thank you. I hope these motherfuckers get so drunk, bruh. I hope they take all pictures and throwing up.
look, all I see is these damn beers and these damn Soul got the beers. Kyla's from New Orleans, so she got this fancy drink going on. She got the little goblet thing jumping. So yeah. Okay, so one of the things I was alluding to about what I was seeing kind of going on in Long Division. Um, and this is funny too. So I was doing these like reconnaissance things where I was like studying you, Robert, Disha, Mateo.
Mm,
I've been like watching like everything y'all been putting out and rereading some of these essays too. And so I was doing some reconnaissance on Long Division, right? And I go back to Goodreads, and in 2013, you did like a blurb review of your own book, right? And you put on there, you said Babe Shepherd, Lavander Peeler, Grandma, and Shalea Crump deserve their own books. I hope the meta stuff isn't too distracting, right? And so, aside from me wanting the hell out of a Babe Shepherd book, you know what I'm saying, and
you getting it?
me hoping that you kind of give me some sort of idea about what may or may not be new in this re-release. I believe comes June 8th. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, um, how do you keep how do you keep where am I at? Okay, yeah. Like, how do you keep the narrative's pace fluid when you're playing around with like this meta referencing that's going on with City?
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, man, that first book was just an experiment, fam, and I think it was a successful experiment because it got me really to Heavy. But I just needed to go back and revision and not like answer all of the questions, but I needed to make the book not easier, but just much more what I envisioned it. Like when I gave that book to the publisher, it's just little shit that like nobody else cares about probably, but that book is too like the words on the book, like the words on the page are too small. There's too many words on the pages. And then in between chapters in a book like that, you really got to have fucking page breaks. Like motherfuckers got to be able to breathe.
yeah,
And because I was dealing with independent press, and also because the dude ultimately did not respect me or my opinion, it was just like a chapter in the middle of a page, and a second chapter began right beneath that. And that might not mean much to people, but like, if you know how to write and read, like you're not giving readers a time to breathe. And also, like, I never wrote those books intended to be like interspersed like that. I wrote them intended to be like, if this is heavy, you read it, and then you read half of it, and then you flip it, and then you read another book. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be a flip book, but the dude didn't want to do it. So the new version coming out is a flip book, and the actual art on the cover is literally part and parcel of the narrative. That was always my intention, and now I can do it. So the book references the cover, and the cover references of the book, and now it's actually a book within a book within a book, which is what I always intended. But I think it's a little clearer. I think people can understand the importance of Bay Shepherd a little bit more now in the way it's laid out and the way some things are changed. Um, but if not, I'll go back and fuck with it again if I have to. But I think it's closer to where I wanted it to be.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
So
okay. Yeah, man, because when I was rereading it this time, man, I totally kind of see what you mean with those breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like to kind of reassure yourself of where you are. You know what I'm saying? In terms of whether you're in City's time or Satorian's time, and what's kind of and how those things are like interacting with each other, because they're all like affecting each other as it's
definitely
going on. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And in that comment you wrote, I was like, oh yeah, he was fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? He was like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do this, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see how many people are gonna be like,
bro. But
uh,
you know what, fam? Like, I mean, sometimes I think you gotta make mystery elaborate for yourself.
yeah,
Like if I tell people, if you listen to Good Kid, Mad City, if you listen to Good Kid, Mad City, and you read Long Division, like you will see how mimetic I was being with that album. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to Aquemini, like, and you listen to like not just the lyrical shit, but what's happening behind the lyrics, like in Liberation. I'm
yeah,
trying to do that in like the third book of the third chapter of the first book. So of course I got all these things I'm trying to do, but the point is not to tell anybody, but it's like this is what keeps me interested in the narrative. Is like all of these other pop cultural shits like influence me. So I definitely want to put some of them in my book. And the people who get the shit, okay. But you don't want them to have to get it in order to get the book.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So, everybody in the comments getting out on me. They say I'm in my writer bag, and I'm
You're
asking
right
these
about that, bro.
I'm asking these professor questions. So I got one that kind of, I guess, will slow it down a little bit.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Um, so
Yo, you should
there's a
read this, bro. The Blacks. You read that by Gwendolyn Brooks?
I haven't, but I was gonna
That
tell
shit
you,
nuts. That
look,
shit nuts.
son,
You
I've
can
been
read that.
putting in this reread that I did, man. I was putting together this like Kiese canon. You mentioned
Ooh.
Black Boy, you mentioned Gorilla My Love, and when you were talking to Malachi Hunter, you were like, "Look, I read Black Power."
I
You know what I'm
know.
saying? You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, "Let me create this." I got the Cancer Diaries is on the
Cancer
phone right
drugs.
now.
Yep.
So I literally like forced my wife to let me like go back and forth to the bookstore like 7 times yesterday,
Wow.
because they were uncovering what I wanted. But that's some nerd shit.
Sam, thank you. We should have started this shit off by me saying thank you for loving us, but also for loving us through books and teaching. You know what I mean? Like there are people who teach who actually don't love books. And there are
Yeah,
people who teach who don't make time for like particularly black children to talk about why we didn't love a lot of books a lot of times we didn't, and I'm just saying you don't have to do what you do, bro, but you do, and you do the thing that's most important to me, which is you bring that stuff into classrooms with young people, young folks, and particularly young black folks, bro. Like there is nothing greater. I owe you the world. So thank you so much for doing what you do for us, bro. Thank you. For
man.
real. No,
Man, I appreciate it, man. You gonna make me shed a thug tear, man. But
the shit
I
that thug
just
tip.
I just be
That thug tip be fucking like it don't drip right. That
man, it
shit
be
just be like lingering,
it be
buddy.
coming
Like
it be coming down like crip crip crip. You know what I'm saying?
that's what motherfucker be.
You know what I'm saying? I
You
was
alright?
telling
You alright, bro? You alright? Yeah, I'm
I was
alright.
telling my kids I was gonna suck that sucker back up. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna You know what I'm saying? Debo that sucker back up, man. But man, I just be wanting them to see like the stuff that I wish I had saw sooner. You know what I'm saying? So like it don't even be like on some, you gotta read this to understand, what's happening, what's gonna happen to you, or what could
Right.
have happened. It's like I'm gonna put this in front of you, and and I'm gonna give you like so many different angles to approach it. You know what I'm saying? Like we were doing Du Bois versus Booker T. Washington last week.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I dropped old boy, um, the one, the black radical, William Monroe Trotter in the middle,
Yeah.
because I knew I didn't have that angle when I had that same discussion. And so,
Mm.
man, they ate with that. You know what I'm saying? Because it was something for everybody in the room to kind of vibe with and be able to see themselves in. And the argument was just beautiful, dog. Like,
Yeah, but you know what? When you say that, fam, I'm thinking about how the versus angle was never used when I was in school, and that would have been, like, I grew up hip hop and rap music. Like we come into school like who's better, this person versus. And so if our teachers would have, put Once and Future King up there, against fucking Harrison Bergeron or some shit, I'd been like, okay, I don't like these books, but I like being able to talk about which one I like better. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it was just like even that wasn't done for us. It was just like, here, read this Faulkner, read this Welty, read this sometimes Shakespeare, read this ironically Tale of Two Cities, and tell us why it's good. But
yeah.
I was like, that shit ain't good. Nigga, I'm not finna tell you it's good.
I'm telling you, son. I'm telling you. So this next question I got, like I said, I'm gonna kind of go more into like, feelings, I guess. And one thing that when I met you, I was like, yo, my mama did that too, right? Like this idea of your mom was saying like you got to be twice as excellent as white folk, right?
Right,
And
right.
in that same vein, you also get this idea that white folk never know what to do with us when we excellent. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? And so what I'm wondering is you have, I mean, to talk about Du Bois, you have like this your own personal double consciousness going on where you got to be twice as excellent, but they ain't gonna know what to do with you when you are, you know? And I wonder how you navigated that as a writer, and then also, how you navigate that when you go in these different places in terms of all these different spaces. You know what I mean?
Man, bruh, I'm so happy talking to you right now, fam. I don't, I don't want to, I'm just like, I don't know, fam. I mean, when you from where we from, I think what comes after, I think what people expect to be like is when you come from where we from, and it's so hard. Yeah, it's so hard. But when I say that, I'm saying when you come from where we from, nigga, like we from right, we from Hamer, like
Yeah,
we from Hamer. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I'm Jesmine is my cousin, my sis. I am from Jesmine. I don't like it. I'm from Faulkner. I'm from Welty. I'm from Etheridge Knight. Like I am from these motherfuckers, right? So what it look like me getting the page and not fucking that shit up? You know what I'm saying? Like what would that look like? Like why would I? What would that look like if you from these folk and for better or worse, these other motherfuckers think you can't fucking talk or they think the
yeah,
worst of all of us because we from
yeah,
down here. How I look getting a book and not fucking that shit up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know you know what I'm saying, bruh.
absolutely.
We did
Yeah,
not come here to we didn't come here to just be nigga. Like we came here to show the fuck out on that page. How do I know? Because all these Mississippians who came before me, whether I agree with them politically or not, showed the fuck out.
yeah,
So that's what I'm supposed to do, which means I'm gonna fail way more than I succeed. But when I fail, I'm falling back in the lap of motherfucking Margaret Walker Alexander, nigga. I'm falling back in the Richard Wright lap, and these motherfuckers telling me, get your ass up there and try again. And in writing, it's the only thing I feel comfortable doing that in. I feel comfortable trying and failing, and it's not even swagger. It's just like we from Mississippi. It ain't
yeah.
like no swagger, no confidence, or none of that bullshit they be talking about, nigga. I'm from Mississippi. What?
Straight up,
That's
son.
it.
Like, like I used to
That's
be
it.
like, look, man, I can't go back home if I can't go back home if I don't show up there. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna let me come back home. You know what I'm saying? And when they
I
do,
mean,
they
and,
finna
and
eat.
it's hard to explain it to people who ain't from where we from, especially because motherfuckers from where we from think we ain't from nowhere. But the expectation, bruh, is not excellence. Like when I be telling motherfuckers at my job, in code and like I'm not looking at you, fam. I'm not trying to get your tenure. I'm not trying to get your full professorship. I'm literally trying to be one of the greatest writers ever, motherfucker, because that's where we from. I'm not looking you mad at me because I'm not letting you dictate the standards by which I pat myself on the back. We can't, but that come from Mississippi, bruh. You know, you
I'm
know where we
telling you.
from.
Listen,
You know where we from,
I be
bruh.
telling folks, man, I'm not here to make you comfortable, dog.
No,
Like, you know what I'm saying? My mama ain't sent me up here to make you comfortable. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
I mean, my nigga, like, how the fuck would I look? I'm getting like that's why they shouldn't let us talk to people from home. How would I look? My granny, the most brilliant motherfucker I ever met, had to work in a chicken plant her whole life. I ain't gotta work at a chicken plant, my nigga. I can go get on this page. I can go try to get a motherfucking chicken plant. How the fuck I'm gonna look in my job not doing what my granny did at her chicken plant, which was stun on them motherfuckers, and then act like she wasn't, and then act like she wasn't. You know how we be doing, and then act like we ain't stunning. Oh, y'all like that shit? Oh, that's crazy. I mean, we from, you know where we from, bro. We got to let motherfuckers know where we from without saying it. And you know, and I know where we from. And the expectation is not excellence. The expectation is fucking like otherworldliness. And that's just it.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that way if I was born in New York. I'm not dissing them some great writers out of New York, but they great for a different reason. The world ain't looking at them motherfuckers in spite of their incredibleness as being the bottom. It's different. It's
Man,
different for us.
man, you don't know how affirming that is, man. I say that, man, I say that so much, man. Even in that, even in the classroom, man, when I gotta go into a certain meeting, I be like I'm just not here to make you comfortable, dog. Like,
No,
and this ain't
no,
even. I'm not even like worried about
no.
none of that. Like, when they try to make me teach certain things, I'm like, that's cool. But when I close this door, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my thing. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm supposed to do. And so,
But
man,
what's ill though about what you're saying, fam, is that it's so interesting. I think black folks, regardless of region, it's like white folks at their worst will like welcome black folk to come fail with them. You
yeah,
know, like we ain't got no standards over here. Come be a part of our shit. You know, but I'm like, but my G, like, if I'm coming over there with you, I might end up being like you. I might create art that's like decrepit and fucking having motherfuckers telling me my shit is good when it's not. Like, so like, I'm just saying, when I get into these spaces, bruh, if there's any young people listening, you cannot let people who hate you dictate your fucking worth ever, ever, ever. Because they before you know it, they gonna have you writing yourself out of your own work. We've seen it, and they
hmm
and they pay handsomely for that shit. Okay, I ain't knocking nobody else's means of hustle. That's not how I eat, bruh. I eat trying to make shit the motherfuckers ain't never seen, nigga, because that's who come before us. And then and when you fail, you just pick it up and you do it again. And you know that these niggas, because they think so low of Mississippi, they not gonna see the dog in us. If
yeah.
you look at Jasmine and you hear Jasmine and you don't hear that dog, and they don't,
Look,
something wrong with you, bruh. If you don't hear the
man,
dog in that woman's voice, something is
listen.
wrong with you. But you know what? Keep on not hearing that shit.
Listen, I'm reading Jasmine, right? And I can tell you, and it's gonna be funny to you, right? But I'm reading it, and when my girl starts talking about freaking the black in my house, you know what I'm saying? And sitting on that, and sitting on, putting that cooler outside and sitting out there with her brothers. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo. I was telling Reggie, I'm like Reggie, we be doing that, son. And you'll
Yeah,
sit
bro.
out there. Jericho was talking about something he was working on in terms of time and space, and how we it just feels like there's time here that's not everywhere, right? And I was talking about, like, in Natchez, man, like nothing closes and nothing like opens, right? Like it's just one, like, it's like constant thing.
Mm,
You can be
mm,
in the club till 6 in the morning.
mm.
If you got a drink, I'm from the Miss Lou, so if you got a drink, you just drive across the bridge to Louisiana.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you come right back. And so, like, there's this continuity that she was capturing so well in like how she's talking about 49. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
bro.
Like Highway 49. I'm just like, I'm in awe. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I mean, it's okay to be in awe. And I actually think that's one of the things. I got to make sure this don't become Mississippi appreciation, but it's already. But like, I think one of the things that we do is that I just think sometimes what I've noticed about people in other states. I don't know. I'll just say like we tend to not hate our own. You know, like when we do well, we tend to help, support, get behind, ask the person what they need. And I think sometimes other people, fan, when they see someone of their clan or whatever excelling, some people I like they go all lengths to take that person's legs out.
Yeah,
For whatever reason, I don't think we have any of that in the deep South generally, but definitely in Mississippi. Like, I want Angie to win. I want Angie to have the fucking, she already got the bestseller for goddamn 15 years. I want her to have the bestseller for 30, bruh.
yeah,
Like, because
yeah,
they fooled us into believing that there can only be one when that is like, it's antithetical to our actual history. We
yeah,
know, we
yeah.
know, we know, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. All right, so let me see where I'm at on time because I promised I was gonna do. I think I got time for one more of mine, and I'll see. So if y'all got some questions, drop them in the question box. Um, so I was wondering, I was wondering how you take care of yourself when you're writing about. I was looking through some of your essays, and I was looking at the Mario Woods essay, right?
Yeah,
So, how do you kind of take care of yourself when you are writing, when you're interviewing someone who's like lost their son to police violence and still kind
right,
of found it within themselves to kind of stand and not
right.
just not just like like stand strong, but like she's doing this introspection, right? In this phone call that I, I'm just like,
Yeah,
how, you know what I'm saying? Like I was writing it in like a poem I was working on, and I said it was like for me it was like watching your mom bleed. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I'm
That's a
like,
great question. I just thank you for asking me that. Let me tell you, that was real hard, man. Like
oh yeah,
what happened, and I haven't talked about that piece out loud. But what happened was, Cap called me one day. He texted me, and it was funny. He texted me, and I'm just bad with technology and shit. But anyway, he texted me and blah blah blah. Hey, brother, and I was like, oh, okay. Who is this? And then he said, Colin. And I was like, what the fuck is Colin? But he
yeah,
was
yeah,
like, I'll call you in a little bit. So he called me and he was like, oh, brother, what's up? How you doing? I was like, and I could tell by his voice who it was. I was like, oh, fam, how you? And then we started talking. And he literally was like, the reason I do what I do is because of Gwen Woods. And I
mm-hmm.
want you to talk to her. And so when Colin Kaepernick tells you that the reason he's out there doing what he's doing is because of this woman, you just do it.
Yeah,
But fam, when I listen to this woman tell me, and I took this out of the piece, but when I listen to her tell me that sometimes she misses her son so much, and the only time she can see his last breaths were watching his ass get killed by these cops, brother.
yeah,
That's a different kind of, that's something different. I've never heard someone say that I have to watch my son be murdered by cops because I miss him so much. I want to see what he did before he died. And she was like, I know that's fucked up and foul and blah 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 blah. But like, yeah, it was tough. But I just kept thinking about like what she'd been through, and she is such a fucking lush, incredible, thoughtful person. And the fact that her and Cap just have this relationship that I just wanted to do some sort of justice to. But yeah,
yeah,
that was tough, fam. Listening to that shit, it was real tough.
yeah, man. Like I said, I was reading it, and I'm like right beside the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? And my kids, they kind of think of me as Superman. So you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm reading it, and it's happened twice. Where I gotta like kind of, I gotta go to the bathroom. But really, I'm in there like, you know what I'm saying? I was having them analyze For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole, where he has Mike Brown's friend interview playing,
Yes.
and he's like, um, and that's when I had turned around and they killed my friend, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be right back. Like y'all start typing, you know what I'm saying? And then, yeah, so I'm reading that, man, and I was just when she's talking about, she said, they always want to bring up black on black crime, right? And she was like,
Right.
if we're gonna talk about black on black crime, we need to talk about the government. The same way we're
Yeah.
talking about these black folk and how their children never go to prison for what they do to us. But like when our children mess up, and sometimes even if they don't, they go to prison. And if their children mess up in ways our children can't even imagine, they can become presidents of companies, politicians, and president of the United States. And you echoed that same sentiment in Heavy when you're writing about Cole, about this dynamic of privilege and power, and how they were saying he had this privilege, and you like, nah.
No.
Well, he really has this power, and I'm supposed to fortify this for him.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
man,
It's tough though, right? Because that's partially what we do as educators, right? I mean, that, fam, like that, it was tough to write that because in some way that flies against like our mission, which is I think loosely the idea of like fortification. You fortify you fortify the kids in front of you. You see meet them where they are. You give them what they can. Blah blah blah. But there's a political dimension to that, especially when you're dealing with people who, I had students, fam, who would get caught with like the kind of weight that like my uncles and my cousins are gonna be in the penitentiary forever for.
yeah.
And I'm and they coming up in there asking me, how they can get out of not prison time, but get out of like a disciplinary hearing. And I'm like, fam,
Yeah.
you got caught with a fucking brick. Are you kidding me? But my job is to educate them and to help them get out of trouble. And so I just wanted to write about that, but not give it too much time. But I thank you for seeing that. But yeah, Gwen Woods echoed a lot of that, fam. But those are all her words, like I had to move some of the words around, but ultimately she read it and she had to okay everything. So that's all her words.
Yeah, yeah. My folk in that time I was at Mississippi on the shirt. Yeah, man. Yeah, look. Yeah, yeah, that's Natchez right there, son. Yeah, yeah.
Bruh, I don't think they know. I don't think they even know about Natchez though. Because most of these folks write about Natchez, they call it Natchez. They be like, 'cause a lot of folks write about Natchez, but they be like
Yeah,
Natchez, Natchez. I'm like, where the fuck Natchez at? I ain't never been to
man.
Natchez.
Buddy that did I think it's like something about South. It looks like the lady looked like Hillary Clinton on the front page. I don't know what the name of it is. I'll have to get it. And he's talking to like people that like mentored me, et cetera, loosely, because what he's really there to do is like talk to the white people in Natchez. You know what I'm
Wow,
saying?
wow,
And I felt like which I'm so glad because I'm like, whenever I do get to write something, like it ain't nobody that's really from there that's really like put it together,
right, yes,
So I'm glad, but yeah, they don't really know about it. You know what I'm saying? Like they were talking about Nellie's,
right,
the prostitution house, and in his book he says like only white people could go there, and I'm like,
right, right.
so you want me to believe that they
Oh,
selling what they selling, but ain't nobody looking like me was going there. So I went home. I was like, Dad. So, and my mom was like, Nah, I don't know. I was like, I know y'all.
oh,
So
that's too funny, fam.
needless to say, Cuz was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
He
Like we
was
was all
wrong.
up and through there. But he
Yeah,
wrote it like they only were the only ones that could go there, and I was like, nah. But
yo, yo, look at what Darnell. Yo, have you had Darnell on yet? Darnell
nah,
Moore?
nah, nah.
Yo, you got to get Darnell Moore. But let me tell you a secret. When you get Darnell Moore, the literature questions got to be other level, like you asking me, fam. No doubt. I know you bring that all the time, but this nigga can dress, bruh.
Lit-
You got to break out the fly shit. And I see your skin is on point, but this motherfucker skin be like, woo, what? I'm
Listen,
talking about this brother be taking pictures of his pajamas, fam. It be looking like Easter. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Look, I'm trying to get my ensemble together for Robert, man. I've been threatening.
That's another one. He's a problem with it. He's a problem.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, son.
He's
I'm
a
gonna have to pull
problem.
out some Easter suits, dog. Like,
But the
look,
thing about that is like you can't. I mean, I don't know how to dress, but if I did, I'm like, how do you beat a nigga with a bow tie? You know, like a good looking brother with a bow tie, kind of undefeated, fam. Especially if it's them like pastel type colors and shit. You just
yeah.
got to,
And
yeah.
Robert be sitting there like he don't know he dressed like that. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, "Oh, you want me to read something? Okay, all right." Son, son.
Yo, he Baldwin's son. He's son of Baldwin for real to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Yes. Oh, Disha, you already know I'm pulling up in the turtleneck
Oh,
tomorrow.
Disha
I
is
might
another.
melt. I might melt, but I'm gonna be in the turtleneck tomorrow.
Disha is another one, fam. Like Disha be breaking out, like she be breaking out shit that could be like in Great Gatsby and Coming to America
Yes.
too, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes. I already know, man. So I'm trying to get my life together, man, because I'm so thankful for all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? For like, just being like, oh hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? What time? You know what I'm saying? Man, I thank all y'all. If you Mateo I saw was in here, you know what I'm saying?
Like what for real?
I was gonna try to get a curl going, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be ready for you too, Mateo. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? I'm coming for everybody every day.
Get him.
So let's look. Let's see what we got. Oh my God. They talking about me. All right, let's see. Uh ooh. Okay, okay. All right, so here. Cree said considering verses, Morrison or Lord.
I mean, um, I love Lord, but we don't need to do her like that.
Yeah. I,
I mean,
and
what verses we talking about?
are
What
you
verses we talking?
yeah, Cree, you still in here? Are you talking about like prose wise or literally like you put her here and then you put Morrison here and then they go at it? I don't know if she's still in the I don't know if she's
I
still she
think we
got
can. Let's show Lord some love tonight, and not even. And I mean, fam, I mean, Audre Lorde impacted my political understanding, my understanding of my body and the politics around it. Her and Hooks to like
hmm
an incredible degree, and I just don't think we should compare anybody to Toni Morrison.
yeah.
You know, if we're talking about art, if we're talking about verses, like we're talking about art, why would we do that to Lord? She was so nice to us, you know.
And then I haven't in keeping with, the rules of having to have read it three or four times. I haven't read enough lore yet for me to feel like I can, say that with some fidelity, man. But that's the Lord I had. I mean, it's tough for me. I don't know I think the way that I was trained too, also, in terms of like my literature degree. Yeah, I'm a Morrison.
Because Morrison, I mean, the thing about Lord, I think if you were like pull quotes, like who's iller, I think Lord got the illest pull quote,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
but but they didn't ask about that. They asked about verses. Like for me, that means about like line by line for line. I mean, who can fuck with Morrison line for line? Like literally, like who can mess with Morrison if you're talking line for line, graph for graph, book for book? Definitely Lord can't. But Lord has something else. Lord got a different kind of
yeah,
power.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
different kind of fucking power. But it's not a power that's like verse based. So that's why I was saying we can't even compare that, you know?
Let's see, let's see.
Yeah, Zami is the one. Darnell just says Zami is the one. And again, you start talking. I'm not please, man. Shit. Without Lord is the foundation for so many of us and so many of our relationships. But the thing said verse for
Yeah.
verse for verse, line for line. It ain't no sentence for sentence. You know.
Ooh, this is from Mateo. What's the telltale sign that an editor is about to fuck your work up?
I love that question. Um. Well, I mean, there's a few telltale signs, but in my experience, when they say shit like "What's a switch?" Um, when they say stuff like when you say your grandmama and them, who specifically is them?
Who is this
Who is
them?
them?
You
And then you got to be like them and them. That's what you know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's always signs like that. Like if they don't know what a switch is, if they don't get the way, we use they and them. We've been on the cutting edge of that shit for a long
yeah,
time. If they try to take that out of my work, I know that the editor might have a different audience in mind.
yeah,
But that's how you know if the editor has a different audience in mind for you, a different primary audience, and you can tell that by like what they want to do with like the verbs and the tenses and shit often. You just know as an editor, not gonna say gonna fuck your shit up, but like who you might be better not collaborating with. That's the way I would put
All right, let's see. I think let's see. Mm, oh God. I'm gonna tell. Okay. All right. So this is from Afro Book Rico. No pressure. But what can we look forward to work wise from you in 2021? Huge fan. Thank you for blessing.
Um, Man, I'm that boy. I'm that black motherfucker who like can't never keep a secret. So I'm just doing my job, fam. I'm out here doing work. 2021. I got Long Division coming out in June. Um, I got another book coming out next June. City Summer, Country Summer. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young people's book. I got a new novel coming out beginning of 2022, and I got a movie project and I got a film project. But that's about all I can say about any of that stuff.
Is Let me see. Okay. Is the piece you read for Harvard, is that a part of the 2022? Like that? You could just do like you could be like
I mean, I'm
do like
trying to do this thing.
do
We
like
trying to,
this. Like,
me and some people, we trying to do this thing around like we trying to create a book and a movie to come out simultaneously that refer to one another, but it's just so hard because it's just hard. It's just really hard to sync them. But yeah, that thing I read at Harvard was a piece of some other thing I'm working with some other people on. It's a book, but it's also a larger sort of film project too.
man, I've been going back and forth to that page for the past week because it says under there that they'll put the video up in a week. And I came in like a little late, and like I'm trying to see the whole thing from the beginning. So I was like, what the hell? So I looked today, they still hadn't put it up, but I've been looking for that sucker all week.
Oh, for
So,
real?
mm-hmm. All right, let's see. I guess let's do. Oh God. Uh, okay. What kinds of children's story do we need right now? And what can a children's story, young adult story do that an adult story can't?
That's a great question.
That's a good,
I
yeah.
mean, I I mean, literally, what I think what Jason Reynolds has taught me is that Jason writes books often for people whose primary audience are the audiences that a lot of us give lip service to. Like we're always like, oh, I'm writing for young black people. Jason is literally writing for young black people, but he has shown, I think, the world that writing for young black people necessitates more craft, doper ability to wield your pen. And so what I'm going to say is I think what writing for children or young people necessitates that writing for old people don't, is like, I think to do it well, you just have to be an amazing fucking writer. You don't have to be an amazing writer to write a good adult book. You just don't. You don't have to be a great writer. In my estimation, when I look at the books that I consider like great for young people, and again, I'm looking at primarily Jason's books. I'm looking at like what Eve Ewing did in a number of her books and comics. I just think that people who like focus on young black people often have to be much greater like wielders of the pen. And that runs counter to what everything we're taught. We're taught that like if you write to young people, you have to be reductive, you have to lower all this bull. No, bullshit. It's not true. It's definitely not true. You're talking about writing to young black folks. So I just think that the writer has to be more concentrated, and the writing just has to be better. And it
Yeah.
is, man. I mean, I think across the board it is. I've been having to read a lot of young adult books because I'm doing some. And it's just you just have to be better. And I think some people think better means like simplistic, but it's the opposite of simplistic.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. We've got this from my brother Reggie Reeds. Is your seven books in one inspired by Leon Forrest's Divine Days in any way?
Man, fam, y'all killing me tonight.
Yeah, we are.
Y'all reading ass niggas, bro. Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's wild. I ain't gonna answer you, fam. I ain't gonna answer you, Reggie. But I will tell you, fam. You probably already know this too. You know this essay, Little Man at Shithawk Station?
Yeah.
by Ellison. That's who y'all are to me, fam. That's how all the whole squad. It's just like it's the Bookstagram squad that I know of. It's like they're not just people who like post books on Instagram. Like motherfuckers be reading. In a world where most people collect books, Bookstagram niggas read the books. You
Yeah.
know what I'm trying to tell you?
Oh
That's
yeah.
a difference, bruh. That's a difference. Motherfuckers be coming to me, collecting my book, read the first chapter, last chapter, and they want to ask me, do I still talk to my mama? Nigga, do you know how to read? That's what you know what I'm saying. We can't never hit them with that. We can't because if you know how to read, you know I'm talking to my mama, bruh. You know, so that's the long-winded way of saying I was very much influenced by that for what I'm trying to do with that part of my career. But we'll see.
Okay, I got one more, but this will be easy to ask inside of my question. I'm going to try and get everybody to do this. So I want you to leave a question for Disha.
Can I leave it right now?
Yeah, I'm ready to type.
So type it in here.
You can just say it, and I will use the 70 words a minute typing fingers I have here. You can put it you can put however you want to do it, how you want to lead the question.
Okay. How about this question, Disha? Disha, this is a real question. Which point of view is hardest for you, and what do you feel like you can do with the third that you can't do with the first? That's real. That's real talk. What I want to. I mean, I really want to know because Disha, I feel like is a master of POV, of among many things, and I want to know what she feels like she can do with third that she can't do with first.
All
Um,
right. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So that's gonna be the first thing I ask her when I get into my craft bag because I've been on her. I like she was saying in the chat. I read stuff that she forgot that she had did. I was reading I'm not sure ancestors or something she named it that she wrote like a little while ago. And then the hilarious thing she did about like 40 men you meet in a dating app or something like that. So I've been on
yeah,
her. I'm on her head too tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
yo, Stan, let me ask you this: have y'all met? Like, did all y'all, like you and Crystal and all of and Reggie, have y'all met in real life?
No, so when I came on the scene, um, I didn't even know what the hell I was like in. I was just mad because like my homies wouldn't talk about the books with me, and so I was like,
Right.
fine, fuck y'all. I'm gonna go over here, and everything I post over here is gonna be about books, right? So
Right.
I get over there, and like Crystal and Nia are doing this ode to Bernice McFadden. They're
Oh,
doing the Sugar Rush, right? And they were just like, yo, you black, you be reading, you a man, like, right? And they just sucked me in, man, and they invited me to like all these things, but I haven't met. Some of them have met in person,
okay.
but me and Reggie, we gonna make that happen. I'm gonna bring him down here. He think he from the northern South, and so I'm gonna bring him down here to like what I call the real South. You know what I'm
Which
saying?
northern south he from? Carolina?
Yeah, he from one of those, I believe. Reggie, which one is it? Is one of them up there?
Oh,
They
oh, he
it's
got mountains. They got mountains and shit where he
Yeah,
stay at.
the mall got like 3 floors. I feel like if your mall got like 2 or 3 floors, man, you don't know my struggle. You know what I'm
Yo,
saying?
and you remember what Pimp C said? He said if you get off the plane and it's on Eastern time, you ain't in the South.
Straight up.
He said Atlanta, and that's crazy because he was going at Atlanta. He said, "Hey, when I get off the plane in Atlanta, is it Eastern time? Mm-mm.
Yeah, Reggie's from Virginia, man. You know what I'm saying? He's from Virginia.
Oh, the northern South.
Yeah. Yeah,
I love it.
I got in trouble on my Julesy interview because I told him that wasn't the real South. I was like, if it ain't at the bottom, I was like, they Southern, but like down at the bottom of the map is just, we can't
Juicy,
escape.
Juicy is a force, fam. Juicy is a
Man,
force. I went on Juicy's show trying to, make good TV or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, and Juicy was hitting me. I was like, okay, she was landing some blows and shit. I didn't even watch that shit over again because I was like, you know, people when somebody get you and shit, and I'm like, okay, all right,
she don't
gotcha.
listen. Man, she's so efficient, man. Like when I got on with Julesy, man, like she know what she doing. You know what I'm saying? And like she got like camera here, camera here, like
Yes.
so. And even
Yes.
her, like she just embraced me, and was like, "Yo, I want you on, man." So like it's just been. I just love this community, man. I could.
Hey, let me ask you one question, because I don't know
Mm,
how to time. Sometimes I be on these, they be getting it timed out. We finna get timed out?
no, we got actually 4 hours, but I ain't want to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
ain't
Let
want
me
to.
ask
Yeah.
you this question, for real, for real. The book that I know you're working on, what do you want it to do when it hits us? Don't run away from it, my nigga. You've been asking me questions for the last hour. What do you want? Not what is it about, because I want to ask that, but that's pride. What do you want that book to do that books have not done yet to you?
Uh, there's this. Okay, so the surface level thing I want, of course, right, is for people to see Natchez. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like they've seen the coast with Jasmine. You know what I'm saying? They've seen Central Mississippi with you,
yeah,
and but no one really like has conceptualized the Miss Lou and like
right,
how history kind of sits on top of us and like it's just like we got the Devil's Punch Bowl where they were like just dumping like Union soldiers in there and putting kudzu on top of that shit. You know
yep,
what I'm saying? And acting like it was cool, and we just like rode up on our school buses past it. You know what I'm saying? So like this breathing history and this breathing otherworldliness that Natchez has, right? And then like you have this thing that you do with smells.
mm.
Um, that I want to do with color,
Ooh, we,
right? Like you know like how you talk about
yeah,
how and I got this from Young Dro, right? Like when he'd be like, I hot blue cutlass. Like in my poetry, I have these plays where I like to like put this image in someone's head based on like things I already know that exist there. You know? So I wanna play with color. I wanna play with time and space. um, in terms of
mm,
how we have an abundance of it down
mm,
here.
yeah,
And like I said, I want to play around with like how that history just rests on top of us in Natchez. Um,
uh,
yeah, and man, I got this. Yeah, yeah.
and Natchez is this place to me, which is like it's attempting to be in some way like another capital of Mississippi. It seemed like, you know
You
what I
know
mean?
it
Like it,
was. It
right,
was,
exactly.
and
Yes, that's right.
it was too many rich racist white people there, so they were like, "We're gonna move this over here," because like they would try to run the whole state if they could have stayed there, because they still there. You
Yes,
know what I'm
fam.
saying?
Right. That history is so crucial.
So, I mean, there's so many things I want to play around with. I want to play around with that prince that was there, Ibrahima, that was there. I want to play around with him because a lot of him is still there because he had like buku kids. But
Right.
man, that's so much I want to play with. But what you guys have taught me is um, to like sit in it. You know what I'm saying? Like and listening to Robert talk about craft was just something I want to get in with him, but like to sit in it and like be
Yeah.
okay with making sure it looks like what I want it to look like.
Yeah. I
You
think the
know,
verb you use, play, is the I just think it's the most important word for us, especially because we put these often. Now, I'm not saying this about you, but sometimes we have these expectations of ourselves that are very rigid sometimes, and so
hmm
playfulness is not like sometimes when I ask people like, what do you want to make or build, and they start talking about play, I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker building one of them things because we don't, we weren't even conditioned to talk about play. And we weren't even conditioned to think about making shit other than like a layup. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
love. You know what I mean? But like making art is like why the fuck we here. So when you said play, I was like, okay, he might be he's sitting on one of them things.
Yeah, man. I'm hopeful, man. I'm hopeful, man. I just like I said, I just want to add my little part. You know what I'm saying? I just want to add my
Thank
part,
you.
man. You know. So yeah,
Yeah.
man. Let me see.
Yeah.
That that's what I had. Now, I don't want to hold you. I got some questions, but we get,
Yeah. What time we got, bro? Like I don't
we
got my
right
phone.
here. We right here at an hour. So
All right.
no.
Maybe.
What? I know what I wanted to end with. It was this question right here. When and how do you rest? And that's from Tracy. Let me pull it up. Get my girl. Yeah, that's from Tracy right there. When and how do you rest?
Oh, oh, I got that thing we got down. I don't know, fam. Like it's hard for me to not work. You know what I mean? Like and at times in my life when I have earned the space to not work, it's just hard for me. That's just that thing. I just feel like we got to be working. So I'm not resting the way I need to, but I don't know. That's all I got. That's the answer. I don't know. I'm not resting the way I need to, but I'm better. I'm better than I was, but I'm not where I need to be.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm not where I need to be. I'm not sure how to get there either, but you know, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna try to get there though, because rest is just. I mean, it's so important, but I always feel like you have to earn sleep, and that's not a good way to. That's not a good.
listen,
That's not
my
healthy for them.
my Facebook. That's the last tag I got. Like it says, like everything I am, and at the end, it's the Nipsey Hustle marathon thing, and it says "pound, earn your sleep." And
Wow.
I think that's a Mississippi thing. It's in like Proverbs too, because my mom used to maybe rewrite these
Yes,
verses.
it is. It is in Proverbs.
It's in Proverbs, like
Yep.
that. When it's time for bed, it's like a man should be sleep. He should be tired.
Right.
Um, so I think like you said, that's a thing like that's in us. And the reason like I said, the reason I wanted to end with that one was like, what I'm saying, I'm gonna be like, take your ass to bed. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna do what I want to do and ask you buku more questions. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So
This ain't this been. I've talked about repair at this other thing like an hour or two ago, which was dope. But this has been reparation for me, my fam. Like you just loving the books and the work that we put into the books while creating your books, and I hope you own that shit. There's nothing like it, fam. So thank you for loving us so deeply and for making space for this art and while creating your art. And I think you're creating art while creating books, but also like what you were doing on Bookstagram and what so many other people are doing is a kind of art that like we need to be able to talk about and affirm and thank you until we die. So thank you, fam. Thank you deeply, deeply, deeply. Thank you.
man, thank you, man, and thank everybody that pulled up, man. The homies pulled up and acted a fool. I'm gonna go back and study this because that's what I do. Like I'm literally be watching it tomorrow.
Wow.
So yeah, man.
Yo, we gotta link up, man. Like whenever this shit is safe for you or us, like let's make space and time to like, link up. And I got the book sent to you, so let me know when they get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was telling my department chair because he was asking when we're gonna do it. I was like, "Yo, I think those books will be here soon, so we're gonna try to put it together in March, like
Yeah,
and really like dig into it." Because my kids, I think I tagged you, and they already been working with the How to Slowly Kill Yourself,
yeah.
specifically that Hey Mama email piece, and they was digging that. So yeah, we gonna
Thank
we
you,
gonna
fam.
we gonna link up. I'm gonna be annoying you, man, really soon.
And I got this Captain Coleman literary arts and justice program. If you got some kids who you really and parents who you think really want to work on their writing and workshopping over the summer, free, you know what I mean? And we supply everything and they can also get college credit for that if they want. Just let me know. Let me know that too. But we link up.
Yeah, I got one off top, right? Just off top of my head. So yeah, I'll let you know. I'll shoot you. I'll ask you, like what I need to kind of get that ball rolling,
Yeah.
so I can have some of them there.
All right. Yo, thank you so much, fam. So
Peace,
thank you so
peace.
much, bro.
Much
Love.
love.
Thank you.
Let me let that get out the way.